scale is just doing its own thing. It's like it has a brain of its own, you know what I'm saying? And what's in life? Should you think a little bit? To start giving priority to this missing link. Because you see, when it comes to the diets, on the exercise, and sometimes we just miss the basics. And this specific basic that I'm about to share here is right, good night, good night. Welcome everyone to the FITMAW show. I'm your host, Jason Craig. Super excited, super pumped to be here. Got an interesting lineup for you all tonight. So, you know how we start. We always like to know where our audience is coming from. And let me jump over to my screen. I like my new screen. I've got a new setup for y'all. So I think from last week, I'll be keeping this one. I totally love it. So let's go with it right there. All right. There we go. All right. So tonight's show, we are going to be looking at some stuff here. This is keeping you back from losing weight. And you guys are going to learn exactly what that is. But before we actually jump in, let us find out where our audience is checking in from. So write in the comments below, where are you signing in from today? Now, I've got all the flags I can remember from the last show up here. So hopefully I don't miss your flag. So let me hear in the comments below where you guys signing from. And while you're doing that, let's go ahead and share it. Bring your friends on, share it on your WhatsApp, share it on your Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and share this link. Let me know where everyone is signing in from. It's always good to get a feel as to where the audience is coming in from, so I can give you all a specific shout out. Okay, so let's go. Here we go. Veronica. All right, so let me. I gotta bring y'all up, right? So Veronica, Barbados, good to have you. Joan, Antigua, Youthful, I know you're in Trinidad. Trisha, Grenada. All right. Good night, Bernadette. I know you're St. Vincent. Good. All right, so Joe Clark, Trinidad. Lovely. We got a big lineup here tonight. Wow, super pumped. Really excited to see that all of you are on here tonight. And trust me, it's going to be a fun show. You guys are going to love it. It definitely is going to be a fun show. Let me leave my mic right here. Hope you guys can hear me good. Yeah, so it is going to be a fun show. You guys are going to love it, because what I'm going to share with you tonight is something that you probably have overlooked, but you didn't realize that it was so important. So get your pen and paper as always. You know, I like to make sure you take notes, because the most important step that you could take from all of these FITMAW shows is to implement them into your life. Because if you never implement them, this will all be a waste of your time. And that's not what we want happening. So go ahead. I'm going to give you a few minutes. Grab your pen, grab your paper. If you need to get your recorders to record some of this stuff, even it'll be up on YouTube after that, by the way. So you guys can always go back and watch it on YouTube. But go ahead, grab your pens, grab your paper, and let's get some information here tonight that we can implement into our lives. So let's keep it going. We got Marilyn from Barbados. Very good. Ava, St. Lucia, Rhonda, Trinidad. Neil Joseph, Mr. Neil Joseph, always good to have you. Neil was one of my early mentors when I started out in business back in the days of Amway Global. Good to have you, Neil. Antigua in the house. All right, we got Anne, Trinidad. Wow, Trinidad, lots of Trinidad. Great. Good to have you all. So what I'm doing right here, I'm just sharing this in the other groups as we get all fired up, as we get all warmed up. How was your day today? Drop in the comments below. How was your day today? I know my day was pretty interesting. I actually had a flight. Maryland, I was actually in Barbados for a brief moment today, but that was fun. So how was your day today? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Indian Arrival Day in Trinidad. So happy Indian Arrival Day to all my fellow Trinidadians celebrating such. So let's get this thing rolling. Okay, so I think we're all signed up. Yes, everyone who needs to be shared to. Right, there we go. So we all set and we all ready to go. So let me check over the comments here. Very hardworking. Hema, that is always the case with you. I wish for the day that you would actually get some rest and relaxation. But I know that will come pretty soon. So let's not delay any further. Let's jump right into it now. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. Now, if you're following us for the first time, remember to follow us on Facebook at Fat Loss Revelation, or you could just search my name and you just hit the follow button. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe now. It helps us to grow so that we can bring more content to you and reach more influential people, so that at the end of the day, the information we bring to you is something that will change your life. Now, We always have to start each show with a FITMAW shout out. And today's shout out is going to Marsha. Marsha D. Now, not all of my clients like their names revealed, so I'll just leave it like that. But Marsha has been working with us now going on about 6 weeks, I believe. And Marsha is down 15 pounds. Now, Marsha, I want to give her a special shout out because here is why. Typically, when clients work with us, they do have a little bit more flexibility. And when I say flexibility, I mean in the sense of I can throw in a little bit of extras into them. But Marsha's case was a little bit different because with Marsha works a sedentary job, which means she's still at her desk, sometimes, let's say, from 8 a.m. all the way down to 4, 5 p.m., depending on what the workload is like. And when she came to me, it was a little bit tricky because I couldn't throw in all of the old tricks. And she made some things clear up front that she will not be doing, which was the old tactics I normally use, something like the plant-based diet, etc., which was fine. So I had to go back and dig up my old trial and error days. And I actually implemented that with Marsha, and I'm proud that she is actually down today 15 pounds. 15 pounds sitting at her desk. When she just started out, the only workout she did was walking. So it goes to show that there are really no excuses to your weight loss. If you are busy, if you're working 12, 13 hours per day, if you hardly have time to exercise, if you don't have a gym membership, which most of us probably don't have, depending on where we are because of the COVID situation, you can still lose weight and get in shape. And Marsha, if you're listening to this, big shout out to you. Keep up the great work. Can't wait to see you at the finish line so that we can actually bring up some pictures. Hopefully by then you have some cards. We can actually show some before and after pictures to our audience here. So tonight's topic, this is sabotaging your weight loss. Okay, that without starving yourself, that's not supposed to be there. Somebody forgot to change the slides. But yeah, this is sabotaging your weight loss. And we're going to be getting into that shortly. But you know, like every show, we are about exercise, we are about fitness, and we must do a movement break. So if you are there with me here, if you are here with me tonight, sorry, let's go ahead and do our movement break. And yes, I see some of you in the comments giving Marsha a great shout out. Thank you very much. Go ahead and give Marsha a shout out. Awesome. Now let's go and do our movement break. So we're going to be just doing a typical stretch. We're going to be sitting here and doing it tonight. So hands up, both hands in the sky. We got to keep it moving. Put your pencils down, put your papers down, get yourselves freed up, and let's do a quick movement break. So we're just going to drop one hand off to the side and we're going to move into that direction. Let's go ahead. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring it back up to the top. Drop to the other side. Move on over there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your hands out like this. Clasp them. Bring it up to the top. Stretch it on back. Let's hold that there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it out in front. Slightly arch your back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So you did your movement for the day. Lovely, lovely. Good job. Good job. So now let's get into the show. I'm super excited to be sharing some stuff here with you tonight. And so I don't want to waste too much time with the preliminaries. Let's get into it. Now, question for everyone. And I need you to participate by putting your answers in the chat. You know, I'm a very dynamic person. I don't believe in monologues. I love dialogues. In this case, well, it's more than dialogues, you know what I'm saying? So the question for tonight, now, do you ever felt like you're doing everything right? So when we say everything right, you're eating correctly, you are even practicing intermittent fasting, you are trying to exercise, but the scale refuses to move. Put it in the comments. Ever felt like you're doing everything right, yet the scale refuses to move? Let me see us in the comments go in there. Now do Excuse the comments does take a while to come sometimes, yeah? Right, sometimes. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Got you. So, with that being said, right, I want us to jump into tonight's topic. And let me just clear this here. All right, so we see yes, we see yes. We got it coming there. Right, so the comments are now loaded up. Right, so my goal for us tonight, as I dive into this topic, is to help us to shift our thinking, one, and start to give a little bit more priority to what I'm about to share with you. Because when we think fitness, we think primarily our diet, we think about our exercise, we even think about certain supplements, buying the best equipment, making sure that we're doing HIIT, make sure we're doing intermittent fasting, and these are good. These are good. These are all part of the process. However, what I'm about to share with us tonight, I need us to pay a little bit more attention to it because weight loss is just the starting point. The ultimate goal, which most of us would agree here tonight, is that we want to be healthy, we want to improve our health. And losing weight is just one of the first steps in that direction, right? When you think weight loss, you have to think weight loss like a structure. In a structure, there are a lot of different parts. There's the foundation, there's the frame, and if any one or more of these parts are missing or is weak, it will compromise the entire integrity of the structure, right? So that is what I want us to start thinking when we start to think weight loss. Yes, it's great to lose weight, and you may have heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. Losing weight is not hard. A lot of things can make you lose weight. If you have stress, some people lose weight. They don't eat, they lose weight. If you have certain diseases, certain terminal conditions, you will lose weight. And if you have certain disorders as well, you will lose weight. So when our goal is just primarily losing weight, sometimes it could cause us to go to extremes. And I've seen it. So what I'm telling you here is not a theory, it's things I see firsthand. But the ultimate goal must always be to remain healthy. Your weight loss must never be such a priority that you compromise your health in the process. I'm going to say that again. Your weight loss must never be such a priority that you compromise your health in the process. Whatever you do, it must be for the long-term goal of being healthy and extending your life. So you would have seen in the internet, and if you've been following the weight loss world for a while, there are all sorts of weight loss solutions. There is crash diets. There is there was HCG drops. I remember that one like 10 years back. There was the cayenne water. Somebody told me about that in Antigua. And there are so much things when it comes to losing weight. And do they get results? Yes, they get results. However, if you were to check your parameters, take your measurements, check your blood levels, do certain tests, would these tests reveal that your health has a positive impact as your weight loss just did? And that must always be our priority, to ensure that whatever path we choose on the weight loss journey, that we are in fact improving our health. Now, weight loss on a basic level is about energy balance, right? So if we want to lose weight, our body is supposed to be burning more than we consume. That is on a basic level. And because at a basic level it seems so easy, most of us try the caloric reduction approach, so we eat less. Initially, you will get results. But when you start to go a little bit deeper, when you've been in it for like 3 months, 4 months, going on that, you realize that the tricks or the strategies you the strategies you applied in the beginning are no longer effective to getting you past that sticking point. Sometimes it becomes so frustrating that you give up and you find that the weight regain is worse than if you would have never started in the beginning. So maybe you would have started at 200 pounds, but by the time you come back, you're at 210, and it's discouraging. And this is some of the things I see. And what I share with you tonight is what I, over my years training, see as one of the main culprits of weight regain, first, and secondly, a deteriorating health, right? Your health deteriorating. And you're probably wondering what that is. And I wouldn't keep you in suspense for too long. So what I want to talk to us all about tonight is sleep. Now, let's take a quick survey here. How would you rate your sleep on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being horrible. I suffer with like insomnia. I just roll and toss all night. I can't sleep. 10 being amazing. Once I close my eye, the world stops. So I'm gonna jump over to the comments. I know, just give me some time for it to load up. How would you rate your sleep on a scale of 1 to 10? 5, okay. Fallon, 3. And I want us to see a pattern here, right? I'm just gonna give you like a 10 seconds to get this all sorted out here. So 9, I see 9, 5, 4, 8, 8. Very good. 5, 10. That's good. Trisha, 6. Okay. 6. Right. So if you watch in the comments, as I am seeing them here, everyone, I could say the average is about 5 to 6 right there. That's the average, right? And that's also what I see weight training when I'm doing the weight loss training. And the reason I ask that is because sleep is such an important part of your weight loss journey, as you will discover tonight, that when it is eliminated, compromised, reduced, then you begin to see the effects in your body. And we're going to be jumping into some of the benefits of sleep here tonight. I want to show you how this simple but free thing called sleep can make a massive difference in your life. A massive difference. Because remember earlier I said at a basic level, weight loss is just making sure that your body is burning more than you are consuming. However, as you dig deeper, you realize that there seems to be a switch that coordinates the body's ability to burn fat or to store fat. And you see this when you look at others around you. Persons pay no attention to their diet. They never exercise, but they're not getting fat. Others focus entirely on the diet, make sure that their exercise hits 3 to 4 times per week, yet they can't lose weight. At a basic level, it makes one wonder, how is this even possible? And when you go deeper, you're going to realize that weight loss, weight management is primarily a function of your hormones. Because you see, your hormones are what coordinate your fat burning or lack thereof. And with that context in mind, one of the first benefits of sleep is that it regulates your hormones. Now, I'm gonna give you some of these hormones, right? One of the hormones that is regulated when you sleep is growth hormone. And this is what helps children to grow, as the name would suggest. That's why I find babies sleep so much, especially at their initial stages, because that is what will augment the rate of growth. But when you become an adult, growth hormone is responsible for muscle mass and also helps to control fat levels in adults. So if you are not getting sufficient sleep, your growth hormone levels are going to be a lot lower, which means your muscle mass is going to be a lot less, which means that your fat burning is going to be a lot less. Now, if you are not aware, the more muscular you are, the higher your metabolic rate would be. So right off the bat, by just building muscles, your body will burn more energy. And as a result, you would be in a more, or you would burn through the fat reserves a lot faster. So I'm sure you've heard the saying that muscle burns fat. So that is why in training, we normally recommend you do resistance training. Now, cardio has its role. However, if you're looking to burn fat, the fastest way to do it is by building muscle. And ladies, don't worry, you're not going to be looking muscular like a bodybuilder. That takes a lot more than just resistance training. So getting back to the benefits of sleep, it regulates hormones, one of that being growth hormones. The second hormone that is regulated, and this one is very important, it's called leptin. Now, leptin is that hormone, leptin, that is the hormone that is responsible for you feeling full and satisfied. So when your leptin levels are in the correct balance, then food, you feel full and satisfied from food. However, when you reduce your sleep, and you could probably testify to this, when you reduce your sleep, you disrupt the leptin levels. What that means is that you will be eating more, but you're not feeling full. As a result, you will find yourself victim to a runaway appetite. You just be eating, but the food is not doing anything for you. And when you see this happen, check your sleep. If you would have gone and done an all-nighter, or you had a disrupted night, it could have been like the baby was getting up very often, or the neighbors were just making noise, or the dogs were getting on. So every few hours you're up. The next day you're gonna find yourself always craving, you're always hungry, you always want to eat. And that is because that leptin hormone didn't get a chance to come into balance. So you are eating more, but feeling less filled and satisfied. The next hormone that sleep regulates is cortisol. And we'll talk a little bit more about cortisol when we get into the dangers of sleep. You'll see the opposite side of the spectrum. Now with cortisol is what we call our stress hormone. And it has its benefits, because if you are in a dangerous situation, let's use the dog example. Most of us in the Caribbean are familiar with dogs. So let's say you're walking down the road and the neighbor's dog decides to greet you in a not so enthusiastic manner, and it's becoming aggressive towards you. Now, your body is going to perceive that as a threat. As a result, it's going to release the hormone cortisol. Cortisol tells your body to fight or fly. So it's a fight or flight response. So by fly, we mean run away. In preparation for what you're about to do, whether you're going to fight the dog or you're going to run from the dog, cortisol causes the storage to dump all of the glucose in the blood. So dump excess glucose in the blood. Why? Of course, you're going to need a lot of energy for what is about to come. Whether you're going to fight the dog or you're going to run from the dog. So it dumps it in the blood. Let's say you decide to run. You run, you scale the wall, you jump over into your other neighbor's fence, and now you're safe. Because you have exerted all of that energy, those glucose levels would have came back down to a normal setting, right? As a result, it's cleared from the bloodstream because that's being utilized. Now, when you sleep, you regulate that specific stress hormone. And that cortisol level comes down to a normal setting. When you reduce your sleep, your body perceives it as stress. Because think of it like your phone. Imagine if you're constantly using your phone and you never plug it in to recharge, or you just recharge it for like a 20 minutes or 15 minutes here and there. It's going to come up, but it's keep going back down. Come up, keeps going back down. That is the same thing that happens with your body. When you never take a full night hour of sleep, your body is perceiving it as stress. So it's being stressed, so it's not getting a chance to do all of the repairs. As a result of it being stress, it releases that hormone cortisol. And then cortisol then causes the blood glucose levels to increase because it's expecting something, whether it's a fight or flight. But in reality, it's just because you are stressed out, you're not sleeping enough. And this blood glucose level continues to rise, which brings out the hormone that is responsible for fat storage. And if you've been working with me for some time, you know that's called insulin. Now, when insulin is high in the blood, insulin is a signal to the body to tell it that the storages are full. Sorry, the energy, we can now take the energy or the blood glucose and store it as fat. So it's a fat storage hormone. So if you have this repetitive cycle where you are cutting on your sleep, all you're doing is raising your cortisol, dumping glucose, storing fat. Raising cortisol, dumping glucose, storing fat. Now imagine if you did that for 3 days. Imagine the results. But let's go a step further. Imagine if you've been doing that for the last year. Imagine if that has been your lifestyle for the last 10 years. Now you can begin to understand why your sleep or why your fat loss levels has constantly been raising. Now, before I continue, does all of this make sense so far? Are you guys beginning to see the pattern? Just put it in the comments below. I'm not even going to tell you to say like a 1 or 2, just put whatever you want in the comments below. Yeah, Candice, good to see you while I'm here. Let me just jump over to the comments and give a couple of shout outs. Candice, good to see you. Rhea, good to see you. Veronica, Shadina, perfect. All right, so that are some of the benefits of sleep. Oh, and one more, sleep actually helps to slow the aging process. So there's a reason it's called beauty rest. Instead of going out and buying anti-aging creams, just get some sleep. And when we talk sleep, the optimum you want to get is about 7 to 9 hours per night of undisturbed rest, right? Just for a reference purpose. Another important benefit of sleep is that it helps to boost your it helps to boost your immunity. In this time of Earth's history where everything is about pandemic, COVID, this is one of the crucial times to ensure that your immunity levels are performing to its best. And what better way to do this than to ensure that your sleep is being improved? And the way it does this is actually boosts the natural killer cells. So these are the cells that go out and destroy the viruses, bacteria, and cancer cells. So when you actually have more than 7 hours of sleep, these natural killer cells are actually boosted, so your body is better able to fight off diseases. So instead of buying the pills I wouldn't comment on the injection, but instead of buying the pills and buying vitamin C, get some good sleep, and that will definitely help you. Now let's go to the flip side, dangers of poor sleep. And this is the one I want us to pay extreme attention to, right? This is the one I want us to pay attention to. You increase your risk of type 2 diabetes. How? You might be asking, how do you increase your risk of type 2 diabetes? Well, according to one study, if you have a sleep deficit of 3 to 4 hours per night over the course of a week. Now, just a sleep deficit of 3 to 4 hours per night over the course of a week, it affects your body's ability to process carbohydrates. And it leads some persons into a pre-diabetic state. Now let's go over this. Carbohydrates, if you remember from our last training, our last 3 trainings, carbohydrates are broken down into sugars, which is broken down into glucose, which your body uses as energy, right? When carbohydrates are in the blood, broken down as glucose, some of it is utilized, then the body signals insulin to be released, and some of it is being stored. If your body is unable to process carbohydrates, what you're going to find happening is that your glucose levels in the blood will be elevated continuously. When your glucose levels are elevated continuously, the hormone insulin has to be poured or dumped in higher quantities to try and control it. Insulin removes glucose from the blood by storing it as fat. So by just if you are let's say, remember we said earlier that the Healthy sleep range is about 7 to 9 hours. If you reduce that by just 3 to 4 hours for just 1 week, you have started the process of inhibiting your body's ability to process carbohydrates. If you continue that past 1 week, let's say you're going to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, imagine what your insulin sensitivity would be like. So your body will be less sensitive to insulin, and as a result, you become more insulin resistant, which is the first step towards type 2 diabetes. So losing sleep is not just about, okay, you missed a good night rest. You're actually disturbing your body's natural functions. So when you lose sleep, your body now has to deal with it in a different way. Your body's ability to process carbohydrates is greatly reduced. As a result, your blood sugar levels remain elevated. When this happens, because elevated blood sugar levels are toxic, your body tries to save your mistake of giving a bad sleep, and it dumps insulin, which takes that blood sugar or takes that glucose out of the blood and stores it as fat. The more often you do that, the greater your storage. Which is why if you find that your fat levels are constantly increasing, you're doing everything else right, but your fat levels are still going up, it could be that your sleep is a bit off, right? Now, we touched on this one before. Your stress hormones remain elevated. So, I want you to notice this pattern, right? This is the second part of keeping the blood sugar levels high. So, the first part is the body inability to produce it. The second part is that your cortisol levels will remain high. So when your cortisol levels are remaining high, what is your body now doing? Your body is now dumping more blood sugar or more glucose into your blood, further elevating your glucose levels, further requiring that hormone insulin to come in and store it more. So let's just backtrack. Check it out. Reducing by 3 to 4 hours per night. Your body cannot process carbohydrates as efficiently as if you did not do that. As a result, your blood sugar levels are high, the insulin is pumped. That is just by reducing your sleep. The next part, added to this is already going on over here. Your stress hormone cortisol then comes on the scene. As if there's not enough glucose in your blood, your cortisol levels dump some more. As a result, your insulin levels goes up some more. As a result, your body switches into fat storage mode some more. 2-hit combo by just 1 night of poor sleep. Y'all getting this? On top of that, with all this going on, your body's in fat storage mode, your cravings go through the roof. And we looked at it earlier. How do your cravings go through the roof? There are 2 hormones. Leptin, that is the hormone that's responsible for making you feel full. Ghrelin, that is the hormone that tells your body when you're hungry. Guess what happens when you lack sleep? The hormone that tells your body, hey, I'm full, you could stop eating now, goes down. The hormone that tells your body, hey, I'm hungry, could you eat, goes up. So you are finding yourself constantly hungry, never filled. Constantly hungry, never filled. On top of that, your body's ability to process carbohydrates is getting worse. On top of that, your cortisol is dumping more glucose in your blood. And on top of that, the more you eat, the less fill you feel, but you are still always hungry. All from a poor night's sleep. I'm gonna let that sink in. All from a poor night's sleep. This one thing is affecting your weight loss. When you reduce your sleep, you are in effect throwing away all of the hard work that you would have put in at the gym or at your exercise time, all of the hard work that you would have put in your diet. You are just flushing it down the toilet. by just missing sleep. We live in a world where night and day can no longer be differentiated thanks to technology. Case in point, what we are having here tonight. We are having a show that I can put my lights on so the darkness no longer affects me and we can proceed as normal. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, electricity was not there. As a result, when the sun goes down, that was a signal to our body to go to sleep. We didn't have all of these distractions, in some cases, conveniences to keep us awake. So a lot of these disorders that you're seeing here when it comes to sleep would not have been existing in that time period. Now, am I saying that we should go back to prehistoric age? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that we ought to be aware that when the Creator made us, He created the sun, the moon, the stars, the cycles of the day to work in conjunction with us. So when the place get dark, our body releases the melatonin to tell us to go to sleep. When to sleep, we wake up when it get bright. By our technological advancement, which I applaud, we also have to still be aware that we still need to follow these patterns of getting sufficient sleep so we could bring our bodies back into balance. On top of that, there are a lot more stressors in this period of life than there was then. So again, that is something we need to be a little bit more cognizant of and make necessary adjustments. Now, if you were to put this into perspective, and I am aware of this because I have seen it firsthand, but insomnia is one of the silent plagues of our age. A lot of people suffer with insomnia, suffer with poor sleep. Prescription medication for sleep is going through the roof. Persons are relying upon medication for sleep. As a matter of fact, one study showed that in 1 year, about 42 million sleeping pills were filled out. And it also went on to say an estimated 60 million Americans suffer from insomnia and other sleep disorders. And what you do not realize, going beyond the weight loss now, when you fail to recharge your body with sleep, you're putting yourself on the brink of a physical and mental breakdown. Physical and mental breakdown. And if you find that you are to the point where your weight loss is stuck, it could be that this very important pillar is turning the hormones against you. One, by keeping the elevated levels of glucose because your body can't process the carbohydrates. As if that wasn't bad enough, it dumps some more from cortisol being improved or increasing the blood levels. And if that wasn't bad enough, it makes you feel hungry all the time and less full. So you are in this constant and vicious cycle of eating, dumping more and more glucose. Your body can't deal with the amount it already has. And on top of that, apart from you putting it with food, your body is also releasing it because the cortisol levels are going higher. And as a result, like I said, you destroy all of the benefits that you would have gained from proper nutrition and your dedicated exercise protocol. And you fail at weight loss. So the goal of this was not to scare you, but just to impress upon you the importance of sleep. Now, in the next show, I will do some of the strategies that you can actually use to improve your sleep. But at a basic level, we did a survey earlier. We asked how would you rate your sleep on a scale of 1 to 10. As I said, the average was about 5. Now, it's not as easy as just lying down and saying I'm going to go to sleep and your body is going to just fall asleep. I'm aware that there are so much more factors involved, right? But I just want to do this show to make you aware that you may cheat the clock today in terms of sleep, but it will catch up on you. There actually was a study that was done that shows that if you are not getting enough sleep, or the summary of the study was that there's a direct relationship between the quality of your sleep and the length of your life. So if you want to put it in context, the more you sleep, the longer you live. The less you sleep, you shorten your lifespan. So sleep is extremely important, and this is something I struggle with sometimes. Sometimes you say, I have to get this project done, or I have to get this out. So let me just burn the midnight oil today. But even just reducing your sleep by one night, by just bringing it down, even just one night, 2 nights in a row, the long-term effect that has upon you is something that can never be repaired. And even as I'm teaching this, I also try and practice it in my life. Now, am I always successful? Obviously not, but I do try my best. And so with that being said, that brings us to the end of our show here tonight. I do not want to be the one responsible for your sleep not being that 7 to 9 hours tonight. So my goal here tonight is just to show you the importance of sleep and encourage you as best as possible to try and pay a little bit more attention to your sleep and rest. And what you can even do to, if it's something that you could fit into your schedule, is maybe take mini naps in a day. So when I say mini naps, you take your night rest, and then maybe a power nap sometime in the early afternoon. That would also help to add to those hours of rest, right? There's so much more, but I can't get into everything tonight. So before I go, did you guys gain value from what we shared here tonight? And let me go a step further. Just put one thing in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you are on Facebook. Drop one pointer that you learned here in tonight's show. Yes, from what we just disclosed here. So let me see in the comments. Give me one thing that you learned here tonight that you probably didn't know. In the comments. Now you gotta give me a minute. You know the comments just take a time to load up, right? So if you all see me going quiet, I'm just trying to read the comments as they come along. Right? So just share with me one thing that you learned here tonight. Because if you didn't learn anything, then I would not have done my job, yeah? Right. Okay. So let me share some of the comments here. Sleep regulates hormones. Joe, that is correct. Correct. Burning it. Get maximum sleep. That is correct as well. All right, Veronica, you have to get sleep. Important. Sleep is important. Let me go with Veronica. Right. Important here, like that. French word. Sleep is important. Right. So everybody kind of comes to the conclusion that sleep is important. All right, had I suppose about the leptin? Yes, correct. The leptin, that satiety hormone, sleep is very important. So I can see that everybody came to the same conclusion that sleep is important. And so, with that said, I want to thank you all for taking the time out here to be with us tonight. And before we go, of course, remember this is our last night. Actually, no, tomorrow's the last. For the Ma Makeover program. We'll be doing the Ma Makeover program. Remember, we're going to be taking you holding your hand until you lose your first 10 pounds. And some of the things we'll actually be teaching here is actually the benefits of sleep, how to augment your sleep, things that you can do to make sure that you fall to sleep on time and improve night after night to bring your hormones back into balance. And of course, I wanted to do a special for you guys tonight. And because tomorrow is the last to sign up for the Ma Makeover program, I'm going to give everyone here on this show an opportunity to work out with us tomorrow. This one is free. It's like a try before you come in. So if you want to come in and see exactly what it is. So we have 2 live Zoom workouts tomorrow. Whichever works best for you. The first one is at 5 a.m. and the next one is at 6 p.m. So if you want to sign up for those, there is my WhatsApp number. Go ahead and add us on WhatsApp. Shoot me over a message and I'll send you over the Zoom link. And these are some of the workouts that we're going to be doing in the Ma Makeover Challenge. And the goal of the Ma Makeover Challenge, as I say, is to hold your hand until you have lost your first 10 pounds. But more importantly, to show you how all of the pieces of weight loss come together. So when we talk about weight loss, we're talking about our nutrition. How does that come in? How should we eat? What should we eat? When should we eat? The fitness, how to fit that into our life. If we don't want to join the gym, if we don't want to be working out for 60 minutes, if we don't want to be buying expensive equipment, how can we use that? And more importantly now, as we discussed tonight, is sleep and rest. So I'm going to give you all a chance. You can come and work out for us tomorrow. It's a free workout. Again, you can come in and see exactly what we do or what we'll be doing in the Man Makeover Challenge. The Man Makeover Challenge starts Tuesday, the 1st of June, and we're going to be kicking that off strong. So tomorrow is actually the last to sign up. After 12 a.m. tomorrow night, then it closes off. But if you want to come in, go ahead, join us on our Zoom workout tomorrow at 5 a.m. or again at 6 p.m. To sign up, go ahead and hit that WhatsApp number 1-385-743-1906. So thank you so much again for joining us on another episode of the FITMAW Show. Have yourselves an awesome week. Most importantly, implement something that you learned here tonight. Go a step further, share it with someone, because there may be someone who do not know about the importance of sleep and the great effect that it has on your body. And these videos will be available on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can rewatch this anytime or share it with your friends, share it with your family, anyone who can gain extreme benefit from these training here tonight. I am your host, Jason Craig, signing out. And until our next show, have yourselves an awesome night.